Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Quincy Kane here, and this is live stream number 47. And for this stream, I'm very excited to share with you guys not one, but two new songs. I love it when I've got a new song to play, and so I hope you guys are going to like them. But I'm going to talk more about that later. In the meantime, we're waiting for more people to show up. So I'm going to go ahead and play a familiar song for those of you who've been watching regularly. This will be one that you are familiar with. But yes, if you're joining us, please don't be shy. Say hello and leave a comment. Let me know. What have you been up to? What you been listening to lately? Have you seen any good movies? Are you playing any video games right now? Leave a comment. Don't be shy. And while we're waiting for more people to show up, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this song right here. This one's called For You. I know you've coped with this loneliness. You think you're okay, but you've been dragged. I'm out here pleading, but you can't hear me. Your silent screams are deafening. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. Thought I was different, but you made me like them. Begged you to hold on, but you still let go. And from the distance, I can see what's missing. You never listen, so you'll never know. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Closest friend and my deepest wound, my most painful scar, and I cherish you. Well, ignore Thank you. All right, Stan, sounds like you've been playing Need for Speed Payback. I'll actually have to look that one up because I'm familiar with the Need for Speed franchise, but I haven't seen that game or I haven't played it myself, so I'll have to look that one up. Actually, I haven't had too much time to do any gaming. My nephew, Malachi, came to visit, and we've got a Nintendo Switch. And so he'll come over and play that sometimes. And right now we're playing through the Spyro trilogy. So that's the most recent thing I've played. I kind of played that with him some. And that's pretty great because I grew up with Spyro. I don't think I ever got to play the full trilogy, but I remember my friend got me the second one, Spyro Ripto's Rage, or Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. And he got me that for Christmas. And I love that game. I played it a lot, and so I'm definitely very familiar with Spyro. And I think it's awesome that several years later they've remade the games, and basically trying to recreate like what we remember it. Because obviously the graphics are a bit outdated now for those old systems, but for the newer ones, they've remade them with updated graphics and little tweaks here, and it's pretty great. So it's a fun game. I'm glad to kind of play with him. So that's all I've been up to. Or I should say that's all I've been up to as far as games go. So yeah. Now I am going to try to be a little brief with this this stream, so I do apologize for that. I'm saving the new songs for later because I'm trying to kind of let more people show up, and that's when I'll get to the new songs. But there are a couple things. One, the weather is looking pretty good right now, but it was raining and thundering a little bit on the way here, and I think that's cleared up now, but, in case there is some storm, I apologize. Hopefully that's not going to interfere with the stream. So that's kind of one reason to keep it a little brief. The other thing is it's actually my brother's birthday today, so I don't want to be away too long. I do want to try to get home just so I can catch some of the dinner time with the family and stuff and celebrating him. But, we're still going to get to hang out for a good bit, and I am excited to bring you guys these songs. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Yeah, sometimes games are fun like that when you just got a little bit of time to kind of unwind, and maybe you don't have time to like really play much of a game, but you just want something to get your mind off of things going on. So a game like that you can just throw in and experience a few rounds can be a lot of fun. It's kind of the same thing with like the Mario Kart games. Like when my family comes over, that's like an easy one to just pop in and play with the nephews and stuff. So. Yeah, appreciate that. Hey, Daniel, good to have you. Hope you've been doing well. Glad you're going to be here. How long are you going to be able to stick around? Because depending how long you can stick around will depend on when I get to these new songs. I got 2 new songs that I'm excited to share, and I'm kind of saving them for closer to the end of the stream just to let more people show up, but certainly going to get to them in time for you to hear both of them. So about these new songs, the first one I guess I'll talk about them individually, but you might have heard me talk about one of them a little bit. I have been collaborating with somebody to release a song, and collaborations are a tricky thing because there's just when you do something yourself, it's a little easier to manage like what the steps are. But whenever somebody else is involved, there are other considerations to take into account, and so it can be a little harder to just like take the next step because you always have to consider the other person before you take the next step. But we are getting close to releasing the song. Really, all I have to do is just make a video for it, and which is probably going to be something pretty simple. But a video for it and an album cover, and then I just got to distribute it to all the different platforms. So there is a new song coming out soon, but the only reason it isn't out right now is because I've been focusing on my live show. I don't know if you guys have seen on my social media, but I do have my first live gig coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So I've been making a lot of preparations for that, working things out. And that's another reason why I wanted to do these 2 new songs, because I'm planning to perform both of the songs at my gig. So I'm going to need the practice. I'm definitely going to need the practice. But yeah, so that's one song. One song is going to be released, and it's one that I've been working on for a while. And then there's another song that like I've been working on. You know, I actually wrote like the initial idea several years ago, and just now getting around to like finishing the song, finishing the lyrics. And it was actually, I think it was on this vacation that I kind of finished up the arrangement and kind of got it somewhere where I was like, all right, that is sick. So, you know, it's like, it's a finished song, but it's not ready to be released yet. But I've recorded enough of it to create backing tracks so that I can perform it for you guys. So definitely looking forward to sharing that with you. Awesome. Glad to have you for the show. And sounds good, getting a ribeye on. So, well, while that's cooking, let's do a couple things here. One, I'm going to dive into a song for you. But let me know, Daniel, what you been up to? You see any good movies lately? What you been listening to? Are you playing any games right now? That's kind of what we were talking about. Oh, just left a chat. Let's see. Yeah, collaborations are an interesting thing, and I've had good and bad experiences with collaborations. This collaboration was actually very good, but again, just by the nature of collaboration, there were just certain obstacles that wouldn't be there if I were doing it by myself, you know. You know, I'll kind of reveal the collaboration later and stuff, but this was a good one. I've had rough collaborations, and that's a sticky spot to be in, where you've kind of done your part and then the other person isn't really coming through, or there are creative differences, you're having trouble agreeing on something. One of my best collaborative experiences was with a friend of mine. Her name's Anna, and she had written lyrics and a melody, which was interesting because I don't write like that, but she had written lyrics and a melody but no music. And so I was able to come in and add background music, and we ended up writing a really cool song. I'm still hoping someday we can kind of, I'd love to finish that song with her because it was sounding really cool. But that was probably one of the best collaborative experiences I had. It's nice to partner with someone who writes something that complements your part. Like, I think, you know, guitarists collaborating, I mean, it can work, but that can be a little tricky. I think like a drummer and a guitarist kind of match up better, or a vocalist and some kind of, you know, instrument like guitar. But yeah. All right, guys, going to dive into another song here. I am trying to pick, these are songs that I'll be performing at the show. And this one I'm a little nervous about because this one's got like this high note in it. And high notes are scary, especially for like a full set. So we'll see what happens. But this one's called A Place to Call Home. Inside of me, concealing what I believe. The potential is obvious, but I'm too scared to set it free. Hey, is that Rex in the chat? Good to have you. Show me your heart. This is the place where I fall apart. You told me place to call home, someplace where I not feel alone. I'm promised a destiny, but I won't trust what I cannot see. Some other will tuck me in to this coffin and bury me. place where I fall apart. You told me of a place to call home, someplace where I not feel alone. You told me love like I'd never known. You told me of a place to call home. You told me of a place to call home, someplace where I not feel alone. You showed me love like I'd never known. You told me of a place to call home. Thank you. Daniel, that's cool about the wireless system. That's sweet, and I'll look out for that video when you put it. So I'll definitely check it out. Rex, appreciate having you in the chat. Since we got 3 of you, maybe I'll go ahead and dive into a new song here so you guys can hear it. So if you can stick around long enough for me to play this song, I'll hop right into it. I am trying to keep this evening stream a little brief, just because it's actually my brother's birthday today, and so they're not doing anything huge, but they are having a little family dinner back at home. So I don't want to be out too long and miss all of that. So yeah, we're gonna keep it kind of brief anyway. As I mentioned before, I've got my first live gig coming up, my first live show. So this set, in a way, is sort of me trying to practice for that. Yeah, definitely gotta practice some of these songs. So I definitely wanted to try the new ones because I haven't played them as much. So keep that in mind. When I play these new songs, I've never performed them before. This would be my first time playing it for somebody. So it's gonna be rough. All right. So give me a chance to work on it. But yeah. So trying to get some practice in. With that said, I'm planning to. I guess I'm not planning to have a stream next week. I'll post something about that. But next week, I just want to use the time to kind of rest and make preparations for the show and all of that. So, I don't want to wear out my my voice, for a live stream or anything like that. I'll probably just use that time to practice for myself or something. But yeah, let me know. Rex, let me know if you're still out there. If you're still out there, and if Daniel and Stan are still out there, I'll go ahead and dive into a new song. But again, that's cool about the wireless system, Daniel. That's pretty sweet. Trying to think. Probably the only newest thing with me, along with making preparations for the live show, I did get a poster in. I'm going to have this little poster set up at my merch table. I feel weird calling it a merch table because I'm not really going to have that much merch, if any. Thankfully, I've got these little business cards that are coming in like the day before the show. So I'm like, oh, sweet, So they're cards. They've just, got my name on it, picture, and they got a little QR code that people can scan, and it'll take them to a page that has my music and social media and that kind of stuff. And then, yep, I've got a poster, again, just sort of promoting my social media, my name and stuff, and again, has a QR code. And then I've got guitar picks ordered with the logo on it, the new logo, which I'll have to show that to you guys sometime. But it's going to be close. I don't know if they're going to make it in time or not for the show. We'll see. But that'd be sweet. If they don't, it's not really a big deal because it's my first show anyway, so I'm not like too worried about that. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, that would be sweet, Daniel. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Truth be told, there's probably a way that I could. I mean, yeah, it'd be great if someone recorded from the board. Because there's probably a way I could record, like with my system, but I'm a little scared to do that just because, like, I don't want it to mess anything up. But if someone were recording from an external source and they're just recording what's going through the system, that would be really sweet. I don't know if I'll get anything that polished, but I was hoping that, Stan is actually coming to the event, and he's kind of going to be my my table manager, I guess you could say. He's going to kind of take care of the table and stuff while I'm on stage and sort of help me out. So I was hoping Stan would, record a few songs and stuff. So I don't know if it's going to be like awesome quality, but, at least some video footage of the event. But certainly, for future events, I'll definitely have to consider that. I'd love to have, the audio recording and some video of the show so that I can post it online. That'd be great. And we'll see. Again, this is kind of my first show, and I'm sort of feeling it out. Part of me is a little nervous because I am, I'm playing with the same rig that I'm using for you guys. I'm playing through my computer along with a backing track, and I think people are going to be fine with that. But I don't know how they're going to respond. And so this first one's kind of to feel it out and just kind of see how the experience goes. And then I'll try to keep doing a show at least like once a month, and then the goal is to eventually get down to once a week. Playing every Saturday or something. So, yeah, definitely really excited for it. We'll see what happens. Rex may have headed out, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into one more familiar song. This one's an instrumental, and this is a tricky one. This is probably the toughest solo one of the toughest solos I've written. Probably the second hardest solo I've ever written. So this is one that I always have to practice, and even still, this is a tough one to pull off. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play this one for you. This one's called Hard Goodbyes. Thank you. So hopefully everything's okay with the stream. Are you out there? Are all of you out there? I am going to go into the new songs in just a moment here. But along with some other updates, let's see here. Like I said, my main focus has been making preparations for this new show and or this first show, and there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, it's going to be a 45-minute set, which is a lot. That's pretty long, especially for a first gig. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. There's definitely certain parts of that I kind of have to like skim through and just get to the like the core of the section. I can usually get like the first bit of the sweep, and then around here, it's hard to get that. There's this little ascension. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, as you can see. Practice that a lot. So, but even still, it's pretty tricky to get through. So if I can squeeze that in there, but usually I kind of have to stumble through that. And as long as I can get to that pinky, then I can do that dissension. But yeah, and then, some of it is, of course, just the performance side of it, just being like that little extra pressure of having to play in front of someone. And then also, standing up. I try to practice standing up as much as I can, and especially now that I have a show coming up, I'm trying to practice more and more standing up, but because it's usually a little bit more challenging. Thanks, guys. All right, well. We're going to go ahead and try out a new song. So this is, here's a new one. I'm definitely excited to share it with you guys. I hope you like it. Well, just being honest, this is probably one of my favorite songs I've written. Like, I'm really excited for this song, and, there might be, like, a few changes between what you're hearing now and when I actually release it, but for the most part, I've worked pretty hard on the arrangement, and I'm pretty pleased with how it's come out. So because I like it so much, it's certainly a little nerve-wracking to share it. I hope, I hope you guys like it too. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you ever saw the video I made about strap height and stuff, but I've found, and actually in the video, someone kind of gave me some advice to make it even better. In the video, I talked about putting your strap on while you're sitting down, so that when you stand up, the guitar is roughly in the same position as when you're playing it sitting down. But then someone pointed out, a way to make that method even better is to do it in the classical position while you're sitting down. Because usually when you sit down and you put it on your lap, your guitar is horizontal like that. But when you're standing up, it's elevated at that angle. So if you prop your foot up on something and kind of get that guitar in that classical stance and then put your strap on and adjust it so that it's about the same, that definitely helps. But even still, just not having the weight of your leg makes it just feel weird. You don't have that extra support. So really the best way to cure that is to practice, like you just got to practice. But yeah, there are some guys who play with their guitar down there, and I don't know how they're able to shred. Josh Middleton from Silosis wears his guitar pretty low, but that dude shreds. So, but good for them. Yeah, me, I got to wear it up a little higher myself. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool that's the first video that you came across. It's definitely that's one of those videos, like, I kind of made it, like, just on a whim. Like, I was like, I don't even know what motivated me to make that video, but it was just something you know, I was just looking for content to make, and that was something I was like, this might be helpful. You know, I'll just go ahead and make this. I was not expecting it. It's like one of my most popular videos, and so it's really funny. I just think it's funny that it turned out as well as it did. A lot of people apparently are interested in that topic, so but pretty cool. And yeah, Stan, it does help. You know, when it can help to learn a song while you're sitting down, and then once you know how to play it, then to practice a few times standing up. But anyway. Going to dive into this new song. Like I said, this is one I wrote. This isn't the one I was collaborating with. Yeah, I'm looking forward to releasing this song eventually. But for now, I'll just have to jam with it. Again, be gentle. This is my first time performing this song, so it's probably going to be a little rough. I mean, I've practiced it, but I haven't really been in a situation where I can just sing it out. You know, this is really my first time performing it, so we'll see how it goes. This song is called Erase Myself. I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again. Grab a hold of me and throw show me the flame that burns inside of me, and I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again, and I'll face myself with honesty, erase myself and start again. Yeah, yeah. To define me, resist the pain. I have to keep fighting, ignite the flame that's deep down inside me. It hurts at first, but worth all the pain to see myself and not be ashamed. start again. Thank you. Not too shabby. There's that one high note in there, and I can hit it, but it's like there's such a gentle technique to it, and like if you don't quite get the technique, you're going to end up straining for it. But I'll have to practice that. But thanks, guys. So that's a new one. That one's called Erase Myself, and yeah, I'll probably be performing that one again for these streams pretty soon. But yeah, so I'll have to just keep practicing that one. Yeah, I kind of have this little fantasy for the beginning. I don't know if it's going to happen, but the beginning, in the backing track, the other guitar is playing the main riff. And I've actually got another guitar track in there doing a pick slide. And, you know, once people become a bit more familiar with the song, I've always pictured like it'd be awesome to get the crowd to just like clap along. And then just have it kick in, you know, boom, 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 and then, you know, the rest of the band kicks in and stuff. But yep, metal's what I aim for. All right, we'll chat a little bit, and then I'll dive into the other song and talk a little bit about that one. That's the next song, which will be the last song, is the one that I was collaborating with. So that one will be released pretty soon. But anyway, trying to see what else has been going on. As far as like listening to music, been listening to a few things. I think last week's stream we were talking about a few bands, and I think someone mentioned Haken. I think that's how you pronounce them, Haken. I think that's how you pronounce their band name. And I had checked out Haken like a long time ago, several years ago, but I think it was back when I was kind of like just getting into progressive metal, and it's kind of funny, but one of the things I really liked in metal, I liked the harsh vocals. I liked all the screaming and stuff. And so if there was a band that didn't really have a lot of that, sometimes it didn't really appeal to me. And it sounds weird saying that now, but yeah, I think when I first heard the band, like the music sounded kind of cool, but I wasn't crazy about like the singing or the vocals didn't have any screaming. And so I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm really into this, you know? But now, of course, I definitely appreciate clean vocals a lot more. I like both, you know, but I might even tend to favor actual, you know, singing over just harsh vocals. But I still like both of them. And so listening to them again, I actually thought it sounded pretty cool. I was like, hey, this is pretty good music. And especially going in, like, kind of knowing what to expect, that sort of helped it a little bit. I think sometimes when you're not sure what to expect and you kind of hope it's one thing and it ends up being something else, I think that can, you know, at first sort of be like, that's not what I was hoping it would be. And then later you listen to it again, sort of knowing what to expect. And it's like, well, it's actually pretty good for what it is, you know? So I wouldn't say like I'm, you know, a fan yet or anything like that, but been listening to some of their music and thought it was pretty cool. And then other than that, I've been listening to, so I've been trying to help out this month with our church's youth group. Our youth pastor is getting married soon, and so he and his fiance have been pretty occupied, you know, moving out, you know, or getting ready to move into their new home, you know, getting ready for the wedding and going away for their honeymoon. And so I've been kind of helping him a little bit by doing these sort of hangouts with the youth to just kind of stay connected with them and kind of give them opportunities to fellowship with each other. And I made a playlist of songs for the hangout, and a couple bands that I put on there. There's a band called Red and a band called Pillar. And there were some bands that I listened to way back in the day. Hadn't really, stopped to listen to them in quite some time, but they're both very good. Both have some really great songs. Red, I almost got a little burnt out with them. I think they released albums pretty quickly, and the first 3 albums I can say for sure, like, they were all really good, but it was almost like, man, they're just putting out so much good music, and like, I don't want this to be the only thing I listen to, So I think for a while I got a little burnt out on Red, but later coming back, it's like, yeah, they really are a good band. And then Pillar is pretty solid as well. Pillar was like one of the first rock bands that I really got into. What was I gonna say? So it's been enjoyable, kind of listening to some of those tracks and kind of catching up with that stuff. Oh, but one thing I'll comment, I've always thought Red, they're such a great band, but that is like a terrible band name, because if ever you have to, like, you ever search for a band and you have to write the word band after you search for it, like you write Red Band because you're looking for the band called Red. In my opinion, if you have to add band to the end of that sentence or that name, then it's probably not a very good band name. And Red, I mean, it's a color. There are so many things, so many other things people will come across. Like, just because they type in Red doesn't mean they're going to find that band. So, now they have a very cool aesthetic. Obviously, they use red a lot in their brand imaging and stuff. But yeah, that's like my only critique is, like, they could have a better band name. I mean, Red sounds like a cool band name, but I think from a marketing perspective, it's not the best band name. So yes, I did check out, I don't know if it's Queen's Rich or Queen's Reich. I need to look up how that's pronounced, but I remember them being pretty cool. I think I added them to some YouTube playlists and stuff. I hadn't listened to them recently, but back when you suggested, I remember I was checking them out. And I've got a lot of playlists on YouTube, but I've got one called Music to Check Out. So a lot of times when people make recommendations or I come across something, some new band I want to check out, I'll add it to that playlist. And then a lot of times I'll listen to it in the evenings. I don't sleep the best, so I usually, and I'm not always very good at this, but I try to kind of get away from screens like the last hour of the night. Well, not the night, but my night, So around 10 o'clock, and I just try to kind of unwind and, kind of put a lamp on in a nice kind of dark lit room, and usually I'll listen to music and do Sudoku puzzles, and so yeah, a lot of times I'll kind of check out bands like that, and depending on the style, so I'll listen to it for a while, and then I may add it. If I come across a song I like, I'll add it to another playlist. Like, I've got a rock playlist of just a bunch of rock songs I like, and a metal playlist for a bunch of metal songs. So, but I did check them out. I remember them being pretty cool. Might have to revisit them soon. Queen's Reich. Yeah, thanks for correcting that. Stan, don't have any PDFs for that one, but I can say you would have to drop tune to play that on bass. So, so yeah, we'll see. But and then I appreciate that. Yeah, that so far the hangouts have gone all right, and hoping to plan another one pretty soon. Yep. I will do that. I'll look up the live version of Take Hold of the Flame. I'm going to make a little note of that real quick so I don't forget. But I definitely enjoy seeing that. It's pretty cool watching some live shows. I've actually been watching a few live shows recently because I've got a live show coming up. And so, I don't know, maybe you'll find this interesting, but one thing I plan to do, so these live streams are kind of weird because one, I'm kind of tangled up here. I've got the headphones on, so I can't really like rock out because I don't have a whole lot of room to move around and stuff. And I'm also trying to stay in frame of the camera. So I try to move a little bit, but it's definitely hard to rock out, and it does feel a little weird because you don't have the energy of the crowd, you guys are just on a screen there, and so I'll try to get into the songs and rock out to them, but there's definitely a different vibe in a live show situation, and so I was kind of looking up some live footage because one thing I do plan to do. this might not be the best scenario to do it, but I do intend to film myself performing and just kind of taking note of like what kind of movements look good, what movements look awkward, and what are kind of some things that I can do to sort of liven up my performance a little bit. Yeah, looking at live show or live performances from experienced bands, it's definitely a good place to kind of draw inspiration from and kind of get some influence on things that I can apply to my own live show. I think so. Am I going to be wireless at my show? I think so. I do have that wireless set. And it's worked well as far as I could tell. I'd used it in a couple situations. I'll probably have to revisit it, but I was definitely thinking of using that because then there's less. Part of me's scared because with it being my first show, I almost want to go with something a little more. Something I have a little more faith in, just having a cable plugged in, I feel like there's just less opportunity for anything to go wrong. But I would love to use a wireless system, obviously, because to have that freedom to move around, especially as a one-man band, like I feel like I need every advantage that I can get to be entertaining. So I'm kind of on the fence with it. I'm definitely gonna like experiment with it some, but I don't know. I'm really not sure yet. So I have to think on that. Yeah, that's one thing I sort of considered too. Like, I could start with the wireless and just have, my instrument cable on backup and just have it on, right next to me and stuff. And if the wireless isn't working, just be like, 1 second, and then just unplug, So it could be that simple of a fix. So I'm definitely considering it, All right. So I do think I'm going to dive into this last song here. This is another new one. And just to tell you a little bit about this one. So the story behind this one, and I'm sure you'll probably hear this story a lot, when I do actually release the song. But my biggest goal right now is building an audience. And so I'm always kind of keeping an eye out for opportunities to do that. And obviously, especially on the internet, you kind of want to be aware of like what's trending, what's popular right now, because obviously if something is grabbing the attention of a lot of people, that's a good place to possibly get some attention for yourself. And right now, one of the most popular apps, of course, is TikTok. Now, as a user, I myself don't really have much interest in TikTok. I mean, don't get me wrong, my siblings and I, we've shared videos with, or we've got a little sibling chat and we've shared TikTok videos. And so I've definitely enjoyed some TikTok videos. I've definitely enjoyed some of the shorts that people make. But, I wasn't on the app before, as a consumer. My only interest in the app really is from a marketing perspective, just as an opportunity to sort of potentially build more of an audience. So, but when I was getting on the app, I was like, man, what am I supposed to make on this? What am I supposed to do? And there is something pretty cool on the app called a duet. And the way that works is somebody records themselves either playing a guitar part or singing a cappella or playing a drum beat or something like that. And then and then somebody else can record themselves playing along with it. And you can sort of collaborate and sort of build this song together. And so it's very normal for people to sort of make a video saying, hey, duet me. And then they'll perform their part. And then, later somebody else can add to it. So I did think, hey, that's actually pretty cool. And especially me, since I love songwriting, you know, it's a great like little way to just kind of write a little song over something. My favorite people to collaborate with, like after doing it for a while, I like drummers and vocalists, because the drummers, they just give you a beat, and then I can add everything else. I can write, you know, I can choose the notes and choose what music I want to write to it. And a vocalist is kind of a similar way. I can just listen to a melody and then write something underneath of that that complements it. So I started doing duets. Yep. So I started doing duets. In fact, you know, you might have even, if you've seen me post any duets on my YouTube channel, I probably made them originally on TikTok. But now, usually when I'm doing a duet, I'm not trying to write the greatest song in the world. Like, yes, I'm trying to write something cool, but you're trying to get it done quick and put it out there fast. So usually I'll write something, and then I'll post a video, I'll tag the person in it and say something along the lines of, hey, wrote some music to your drum beat, hope you like it, you know, and that's it. And then sometimes I'll get a response, and we'll follow each other and stuff, and yeah, that's kind of how that goes. So I came across this drum beat one day, and kind of wrote this riff over it, and the riff sounded kind of cool, but it sounded like it was missing something, and I thought maybe it just needs a melody over top of it. So I kind of came up with this vocal melody, and when I heard it back, I was like, man, that sounds really cool. I really like that. So I ended up, you know, finishing in the duet. It's just like an intro, a verse, and a chorus. But I tagged the person in it. It's a drummer named Megan Mullins, Whiplash Mullins, and she liked the song. She thought it sounded cool. So I went about my day or my week or whatever, and I kind of had the song stuck in my head. I was like, man, that sounds really cool. I think I'd like to turn that into a full song. But I wouldn't have written the song if I hadn't found the drum beat, you know? Like, that's what inspired the riff. So I felt like I needed to at least consider, you know, her before trying to write the song myself. Now, she had a much bigger following than me. And so I was kind of thinking, like, she's probably not going to want to collaborate with little old me. But I figured I'd at least ask for permission, like, hey, are you okay if I go ahead and write the song myself? But to my surprise, she was down for it. So we started working on the song together. And for the most part, the collaboration went well. I kind of underestimated, you know, how to mix real drums, because she plays real drums. And so I did underestimate that a little bit, and that took some time, like just trying to get those sounding good. I did the best I could. They sound all right. I'm pleased with the mix, and she was happy with the outcome too. But you know, it's definitely not like you know, awesome. but I think it sounds good. I think it's solid. I think most people aren't going to think twice about it. So I'm pleased with how it came out. We're both pretty happy with the end result. But of course, you know, there's just other things that had kind of gone on, figuring out how to promote the song, release it, all that stuff, and on top of that, just other things in life, you know, preparing for the live show and things like that have gotten in the way. So. Now for my backing tracks, all my backing tracks, I use programmed drums. So the drums that you're going to hear now are programmed, but they are based off of her performance. And again, that's just for consistency. You know, I don't want, you know, the mix to sound one way and then all of a sudden it sounds a different way. I'd rather just stick with the same drums and the same bass and that kind of thing. But the actual release will have her drum performance on there. So yeah, so this is a new one. I'm going to perform it in just a moment here. All right, this is a new one, and again, this is my first time really performing it, so it might be rough, you know, so here we go, but hopefully you like it. This one's called Move On. free. Yeah. See how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on. So move on. See how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on. So move on. So move on. When you find yourself at the end of your road, you know it's not over. When you find yourself at the end of your rope, you know it's not over. You've been down this road more than once before, and it won't stop you this time. Say how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on. So move on. See how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on. Thank you. Yep. That one's called Move On. Cool, guys. Well, I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks, Stan. Appreciate that. So yeah, that's the other new one. And I'm not totally sure when it's going to be released. Like I said, I'm kind of focused on the live show right now, but eventually I'll get some kind of video made for it, and I'll get it distributed. And yeah, that one will be available. And then the plan is, once that song gets released, again, not working on any collaborations right now, so it should be a little quicker to get more songs out. I should be able to get back into kind of a routine and hopefully releasing some new songs. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For anyone watching now or watching on the replay, if you'd like to support me, I do have a link in the description to a virtual tip jar, and I definitely appreciate any support that you can provide. If you don't have the financial means to support me, my biggest goal right now is building an audience. And so there's a link in the description for a sign-up list for my email list, and that way you can be notified of upcoming streams, new releases, that kind of thing like that. But also just remembering to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, sharing my videos, inviting people to come to the streams and stuff. All that, leaving comments, all that stuff helps, and I definitely appreciate the support. I'm going to hang out for a little bit, but like I said, I wanted to keep the stream a little shorter, just trying to get home and have some dinner with the family and stuff. Daniel, I hope you're having a good dinner. I hope the ribeye, I don't know if that's finished cooking yet or not, but hopefully that's come out good and you're having yourself a nice meal. But I always appreciate you guys tuning in. And yes, I'll send out another post about this, but there will be no live stream next week because I'm just kind of using that week to prepare for the show, and so hopefully that goes well. I'm sure I'll be posting whatever content I can make out of that situation. But again, I'm going to hang out for a bit just to chat with you guys. But that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all have a good evening or a good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Until next time. Yummy. Sounds like the ribeye turned out good. And yes, Dan, I'll let him know you said hello.